I designed a boat that will float, regardless just about of how it's capsized, apart from if it isn't holed. If it's holed, I suppose you could put something in that's going to inflate, some kind of inflatable membrane, but I didn't go that far, so I did an Atlas frame that expands and lifts it out of the water and has an inflatable, but it was a bit far-fetched. But for a catamaran or trimaran, what I envisaged was, I have the Rothschilds to thank for this actually, and it did push a lot of other thoughts through, like how to get up a mast without having to climb it on a flap, which is just operates like a lift and uses drag or the engine or something, and that was quite good. And then I used drag to set the sails, drag to maybe take up an anchor if it was possible, drag to open. In fact, you could use wind, a lot of wind and things to open up and shut windows and different things, and even haul up roller reefing is all very well while it's working, but while it's not working, try to get the boat going fast enough with an engine, with the engine that you would imagine the roller reefing was working. But if the engine was working and the roller reefing wasn't, then I looked at how to get the sails up using drag as well, which is fairly labour intensive, I know. So the boat, here's the boat, there's the mast, and the mast is in 3 sections. What happens is the boat rolls over and the mast rolls under like this, up the other side. They've got exactly the same on the bottom half as you have on the top. It's flying fish reefing, I've called it, which just down like this, stacked like this with ribs, and it just down, and then it comes, the mast goes down the other side. Somehow the reefing would have to go in the right direction to slip through, and then it just takes off again within a sort of like reasonable, safe time, or else you'd be left behind if the boat just flew off and you weren't lucky enough to have remained on it. Then you'd be left without a boat or anything to hold on to. That was one. The hoopla system is probably worth talking about at the moment. The hoopla system is new, and somebody else has been nominated for my Nobel Peace Prize again. The hydraulic doctor was the other one, which I really, really liked, with the ordering system that can order anything in, and it just has this hand which is a climber and can get anywhere. It's like a caterpillar with a hand and with a tool setting, basically can put anything together. But anyway, we are talking presently about hoopla, and hoopla works on the basis of 2 negative magnets or thereabouts. I don't know whether to use acoustics yet. Not electroacoustics. What is Fourier's system of harmonics has been very useful in electroharmonics or whatever. But I've worked so far on the theory that 2 negative forces of magnetics create the possibility of slotting together. You put hoops in and you charge them magnetically, and then you charge an outer shell with a negative magnet, and that creates the structure in which you can make something float. And then within that structure you put another tube or thereabouts, or some kind of frame that you can sit on that will remain at an absolute constant 180 degrees. You can sit on it and it doesn't even feel as if you're moving. It's pretty much silent. It's very energy efficient, is all you should really hear. And the fascination really is what's going to pull it and push it. Will it be air? So it starts moving, the air then is compressed and maybe shoved out the other side or something, or is it going to be the magnets themselves that will pull the thing along and then push it backward the other way? I wouldn't know. And again, the theory was that you beamed in natural light and the pictures from outside were beamed in, so it was just like sitting in a railway carriage or sitting outside. It's almost like you're suspended in something that you're suspended in a field almost. You're just sitting on a park bench in a field or whatever, whizzing on, and it's like being outside but you're inside. And that was the other trick to the natural light phenomenon that I haven't talked about yet, but I will just now. And that was based on the race to find the first ever synthesized particle of natural daylight, and then the spectrum was to follow. And the theory is that you can use all the old equipment for solar inside rather than outside, rather than having to base it outside all the time. So you are theoretically creating as much, if not more, power and light and possibly heat and possibly cool, and that it will give you all your vitamin D requirements. If you're on night shift, it feels like you're just not on night shift anymore, because you adjust to that, because you have all the natural requirements that you don't get when you're on night shift a lot of the time. And it does a number of other things. It will, do something about sleep disorders, do something about, as I've said, skin conditions. It will do something about seasonal affective disorder, and promoting growth in plants and things like that as well. If you can find that natural particle rather than this it would be synthesized, but it's really synthesized at the moment. We exist in nice light, but it's not natural light, and basically replacing a filament even and then backlighting it to solar Casio component would do it. Oh, has anybody seen my watch, by the way? I think Police Scotland probably have, but anyway. Halloween caught. They're watching. It's an awful lot of information to go back over again, so I don't know, but yeah, that's about that. What else am I thinking about? There's so much. Cars which exist on that magnetic basis, the engines exist on that basis. Again, the radiators are a good one. So you half a radiator, this gives me a share in every car theoretically, and I should already have shares in just about every mobile phone, but I do not like cobalt as a medium because it's very difficult to mine for, and I don't understand really why Asia hasn't provided the training and the equipment by which to mine that stuff properly, or if real fiends have got their hands on the mining rights, etc., and are just whipping people into situations that I don't even want to imagine. And unfortunately I do imagine it sometimes, and from the reports coming back via our business management section, section being the operative word, you have miles of diggers and things. I always thought that mobile phones would eventually take on that light bar that goes down the side of just a piece of plastic, and I would have thought with a black backing and maybe something that would conduct the light properly, you would get the same sensitivity using the same theories as the QWERTY keyboards, light sensitive things. I think you've probably will have caught on that I was going to be using waste food, potato starches and things like that, and then once you're finished with them you just dissolve it and it's not even a waste product anymore. I don't know what potato starch could be used to drive. I think you could make your next vodka with it, particularly if you're that way inclined. But what else was there? There is the toothbrush, there were the radiators, again this will give me a share in every car. You half anything that's prone to leaking or prone to bursting creates a statistic. So basically by halving a radiator in a home or in a car, if that radiator gives, or if that container gives, only half of it spills, and there's half the mess, half the misery, and the opportunity to get to a garage or to get home. That's the theory. Why are we wasting heat in the way we do when we could quite easily house a heater within a cavity, a wall cavity, and it bridges both sides? And then what you're looking to do is funnel the hot air from the surrounding area up. So if the heater becomes the heart, then the vein system is what channels all that extraneous air up and around the house, whether it be hot air, cold air, whatever. And my magic moment really was for my friends in St Lucia, and I created an air conditioning system which was driven by a gearing system, which could either be an electric motor, which on rowing machines you get an awful lot of wind from rowing machines. So if you have a rowing machine or a bike, a combination of both, that pumps cold air around the house and mozzie killer as well, things that annoy them, and so you get the cool air conditioning And you can pump perfume and mozzie killer round the place. I think that'll do for a bit.